High Definition starts right now.
Record-breaking and continuing cold for the Tri-Cities with no end in sight. Thanks for joining us for News 5 at 6. I'm Julie Newman. We have team coverage this evening of this unprecedented cold and how you can protect your property from the cold's effects. News 5's Ellie Romano is in Bristol, Tennessee, where the cold water is affecting pipeworks. Jessica Griffith has more about electricity and the cold, and Samantha Zarek will show us how to protect your pets in these frigid temperatures. But we begin with Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirk. So, Dave, could we break another record tomorrow?
It's possible, but not necessarily likely at this point. But let's talk about what is new today, and that is a brand new record low temperature in the Tri-Cities. Got down to 3 degrees this morning, easily breaking the record of 9 degrees set in 1979. So yeah, what about tomorrow? Tomorrow's record is 5, set in 2001. I'm going with a low temperature between about 5 and 10 most areas. Now, sunshine helped push temperatures into the mid and upper 20s across much of the area, but we're already down to 19 in Clintwood and Elizabethton, currently 22 in Greenville. We're in the low 20s now in the Tri-Cities. Now, as we go through the next couple of days, I got the impact tracker alert level elevated for the possibility of some snow and slick roads coming up. And also, all of us will see some very brutally cold air returning into the Tri-Cities later in the week. So coming up in a few minutes, I'll time that cold outbreak. Plus, I'll let you know what hometowns are likely to see a little bit of snow.
All right, Dave, thank you. Now more on our continuing coverage. These below freezing temperatures causing several water line breaks across our region. The city of Bristol, Virginia reported 2 breaks overnight. Johnson City is reporting 15 water line leaks or breaks. There were also many homeowners suffering from broken water pipes. News 5's Ellie Romano was on the scene with a repair crew who was out there trying to find out how you can keep it from happening to you.
You may think the outside of your house is weatherproof, but when it gets this cold, you need to take some extra steps to protect your home, specifically your water pipes.
When it gets this cold, and if you're worried about a problem, it's probably to leave something running very smallly so you won't freeze while the water is off during the night.
You may not notice a problem with your pipes until temperatures go up.
You could get a lot of breaks from next week. When it starts warming up and thawing out is when they'll start bursting and having a lot of problems.
This housing complex has pipes underground, but because the ground is so cold, Blaylock says the water line is frozen and cracked, so crews are working to repair the breakage. Carl Miller has lived in the complex for 7 years. He says he's never seen a break this bad.
I'm just surprised it hadn't happened already before. Really? It's cold, it's just being.
His plan to deal with the cold?
I'm ready to go to Florida.
But for now, while his water is shut off for repairs,
I've already ganged up some water and big jugs and all, so I'm good until they can figure out how long it's going to take to fix it.
Getting the facts right in Bristol, Tennessee, Ellie Romano, News 5 WCYB.
All right, Ellie, thank you. These cold temperatures also raising concerns for your pets if they're left outside. As temperatures fall below freezing and stay there, it's important to remember that your pets need to keep warm as well. Experts recommend bring your pets indoors, and if they must stay outside, please provide them with waterproof shelter, plenty of food and water, and warm bedding or even cedar chips. There are also ways you can protect your livestock from these frigid conditions.
Cattle, horses, they do not have to have a building to go into. As long as they have a stand of trees or a windbreak, that's considered shelter for livestock. We get a lot of complaints about that, but unfortunately there's no law that says they have to have a building.
Experts also say check your animal's water bowls very often. Those can actually freeze in these extreme cold temperatures. And if you see an animal that doesn't look like it's being properly cared for, you should call your local animal control. These really low temperatures have driven power demands to its highest peak since 2015, causing thousands to lose power in Bristol alone, and the outage spreading across Southwest Virginia. Because of the severe cold, TVA is requesting a reduction of power usage from all customers. News 5's Jessica Griffith finds out why this happened and if it's expected again anytime soon.
In these very cold temperatures, power companies are asking you to conserve some electricity. And you can do this in a few ways, and one of those is by lowering your heat a few degrees. The average temperature Tuesday morning in the TVA service area was 11 degrees. This was the highest peak the company has seen since February 2015. As a precautionary method, TVA and 154 power companies asked customers to voluntarily reduce their use of electricity. This included Bristol customers.
It was to keep an emergency from happening, that even if they lost some generators.
In addition to lowering the heat, folks were asked to turn off lights and postpone using appliances. The request lasted about 5 hours. Browder says they thought it would have been longer, but cooperation from 9 million customers helped the situation from becoming more critical. Browder says while some customers may have felt inconvenienced, it actually helped save them money.
If we had more generation available, that would be spending more money, so that all the money that TVA spends, we have to collect in our electric bills.
He says he recommends keeping your home at 68 degrees.
Well, it's about 5% more in their bill for each degree up. So if it's 73 instead of 68, so that's 25% more energy they're going to use at that setting.
That's how warm Robert Holt keeps his home. But in situations where customers are asked to lower the heat, he hopes people who keep their homes warmer than recommended will take notice of efforts to conserve.
You know, if I turn mine down 2 more degrees or 3 degrees, I couldn't stand it in the house. It'd be too cold.
Browder says with colder temperatures forecasted later this week, another conservation request could happen. Getting the facts right, Jessica Griffith, News 5 WCYB.
Even with these bitterly cold temperatures, many are still out in the elements because they may feel they have no other place to go. Bristol, Virginia police are out there checking on homeless camps. Officers say there is no real protocol at the department, but they do try to check on areas where they know homeless may frequent when these temperatures drop. They often check to make sure people haven't suffered from any weather-related medical issues and that they have enough clothing. Officers also provide options for shelter if needed.
There are several places, you know, that we can take them to if they need to get in, because nights like we had last night, it's just, I don't know, it's unbearable for people to stay out in it, I would think.
Bristol, Virginia and other local agencies are providing wellness checks if you're concerned about a loved one who might be living alone during the severe weather. And of course, we'll continue to keep you updated about this cold weather plaguing our area. You can visit us online at WCYB.com. You can check our WCYB Facebook page. And of course, you can use our mobile apps. You can also find the current weather conditions and storm warnings on the Storm Track 5 mobile app. Also, don't forget to send us your cold weather pics to weather@WCYB.com. And speaking of weather, Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks is back right after the break with more about another wave of cold air heading towards us. Also,
it all just kind of seems like a dream even up to now. It's just devastating.
A big loss for this small town as what residents called the backbone of their community burned down overnight. The plan to rebuild coming up next.